Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place we ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna.
Pleasant good morning. Well, this morning I want to focus on a very special verse, because sometimes people want to tell Jesus, leave, go, and then they want to tell him, come back. We have to learn that we can't do that. You can't chase away the Lord and expect you want to call him back and have him like a kunumuno, like what people say in Belize. That can't happen. And sometimes the way we do things, the decisions we make is going to haunt us. The Bible says that when Jesus sent out the apostles, he told them, when you go to any house and they reject you, dust off your foot and come on the street, but say the message loud that they may hear, and then you leave. Why am I saying that this morning? You see, God is not going to beg you to be close to you. He's not going to beg you. He's going to give you the overall picture, and then you're going to be left on your own. Some people don't pay attention to these things as much as they should, and they make decisions believing that they could chase Jesus away when they want, call him back when they want, and then before they die, or after they die, somebody say a prayer and they're going to get into heaven. Unfortunately, it's not so. It behooves a man to understand, when I say man, I mean a man and a woman, if they are children of God. Because you should not live where you are mistaken and you find out the answer when it is too late. And so the people who witnessed when these demons left this man's body, they were frightened because this man was in a deplorable condition. He was tormented by these demons. He went through a lot of stuff, day and night. He lived in a cemetery, cut himself. He cried out in the wee hours in the morning, and men couldn't do anything. They tried to shackle him. That didn't work. He'd break the shackles. I imagine it's a very frightening thing to see, but Jesus intentionally went to that place that day so that this may be recorded. You know that Jesus is God. He controls everything. And so the people who saw it, the ones who were taking care of the pigs, when the pigs ran off the cliff and drowned themselves, they went in and reported to their bosses. Now, people are moving in a way that they're not sure if they want God because they think they're going to lose something. Some people, if they're going to do something for the Lord that they think is going to make them lose something, they won't do it. Mark 5:14 says, those tending the pigs ran off and reported this in the town and countryside. And the people went out to see what had happened. Now, if you have a person that you know who was in this situation and this person got healed, wouldn't it be that you'd be happy? Well, the people weren't happy because the pigs had value, and they were more concerned about the loss of their pigs. And they said, I think they may have said, if he's here he's just arriving here, and it already costs us so much money, if he stays, what else is he going to destroy? The Bible does not say that, but I'm just thinking that that's what these people were thinking. Verse 15 says, when they came to Jesus, they saw the man who had been possessed by the legion of demons sitting there, dressed and in his right mind. And they were afraid. Now, they were still afraid of the man because they were not sure, but they saw the man was in his right mind. They did not understand what took place. People should have been celebrating that their brother has been brought back from the pits of hell to be restored back to his normal mind. But the people were not paying attention to that. In my mind, they were thinking about what they have lost. Wow. For me, I would have been thinking, what else can he fix whilst he's here? What else can he fix? But I think they were worried about the loss. He continues and he says, those who had seen it told the people what had happened to the demon-possessed man, and told about the pigs as well. They got the story from a horse's mouth. Those who saw it reported what had transpired to them. In a right mind, people would say, Lord, we have this other problem, we have this other problem. There's a sick person over there, there's somebody with palsy, or whatever else you'd have reported to the master. He may fix these things, but the people did not do that. Instead, then the people began to plead with Jesus to leave their region. That's what I want to read this morning for you. They started to plead with him to leave their region. Many people, by the lifestyle that they live, that's why the Bible says that the reason why somebody does not want to come to the Lord is because they have darkness in their hearts. There are evil things that they're doing, and they want to continue to do these wrong things. And how else to do that except in the absence of the Lord, where they could close their chapter of their life on the things of God. So depending on what they're doing, they open and close that door to allow Jesus to come out or to send him away. These people in this documented evidence story said that these people plead with him to leave. They begged him to leave. Wow. But I want you to watch what happens. It said, as Jesus was getting into the boat, the man who had been demon-possessed begged to go with him. They plead, and he left. That's what I want you to see this morning. If you ask God to leave, he will leave. Let him. Jesus did not let him, but said, go home to your family and tell them how much the Lord has done for you. So the man is pleading, the one who got help is pleading with the Lord. He wants to go with God. He wants to go with God. It's like the lady with the alabaster jar who got fixed up by Jesus Christ. Jesus is saying to this man, go and tell your family. Go and tell the people what great thing God has done for you. Nobody will be able to deny what they're seeing, what this man says, because they saw his condition prior to that. We must give room for testimonies in church, that people can get up and talk about what God has done for them. Think about the things that God has done for you. And I reiterate and close by saying, if you don't want to hear the thing from God, he's going to make sure that you get to hear and close that chapter. It's your responsibility from thenceforth. The brother Fem say, die if you want. Jesus never force you.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me Sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know, nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize, be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya, living in peace. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of
Blessed Gardens is servicing home gardens across the country from the nation's capital and helping Belizeans reconnect with nature. We have everything you need for your home garden, so get growing. We have various types of soils: fortified soil, composted soil, potting soil, and pure compost for your garden. We have quality seeds and over 65 varieties of food seedlings for your garden. We even have organic insecticides available, EM soil treatment, and Polyshade for your excessive sun or rain. Blessed Gardens has all your garden solution in one location. Call 610-5679. Visit us at the Bumapan Market Plaza or enjoy our free deliveries across the country. Blessed Gardens. Get growing, Belize.
Attention Belmopan residents. This is an important reminder regarding the proper disposal of debris in our community. As per Statutory Instrument Number 122 of 2005, Section 10, Subsection B, residents are strictly prohibited from placing debris on the buffers. Violating this regulation is considered a ticketable littering offense. Residents are encouraged to use private contractors or contact the Belmopan City Council to make arrangements for debris disposal. If you need assistance with debris disposal, please contact the Sanitation Department at 822-2271, extension 2019. This message is brought to you by the Belmopan City Council. Let's work together to keep our beautiful city clean and safe. Thank you for your cooperation.
City residents, civic pride is all our responsibility. It's about taking ownership of our city and embracing its beauty. But amidst this beauty lies a growing concern: the continuous destruction of city property. And a part of civic pride is taking care of public property. Therefore, the Belize City Council takes this time to remind city residents that these acts are not just vandalism. They are crimes against rights to property and criminal damage to property. Under Chapter 101 of the Criminal Code, within the substantive laws of Belize, a person who, without lawful excuse, destroys or damages any property belonging to another, intending to destroy or damage such property, or being reckless, shall be guilty of a crime. Upon conviction, a person can face up to 1 year imprisonment. We must all do our part to safeguard what belongs to all of us, what belongs to our city. Together, we can make a difference. This is our city. Let's respect it. Your Belize City Council, always about the people.
Cyber Realty and Development is the leader in providing solutions to the current land crisis in Belize. For homeowners and investors alike, Cyber Realty is offering special deals on half-acre parcels in its new Emery Village development. Enjoy prime land off Mile 37 on the George Price Highway at an unbeatable price. All you need is the initial down payment of $275 Belize dollars. Take advantage and reserve your half-acre home sites today. Emery Village. Join the community. Invest in your future.
I'm coming back to your heart.
Foundations. Your work must be grounded upon solid rock, and so should your faith. Join Pastor Louis Wade Jr. weekly for Foundations Bible Study, where he goes deep into the Word of God with biblical teachings for better understanding.
And Jacob said, if you bless me, and if you are with me, and if you take me to that place, and if you bring me back, you will be my God. And God said, okay, you will do fool, but I will walk with you nonetheless.
Tune in on PlusTV Sundays 9:30 a.m. for a new program, or catch the repeats on Mondays 11 a.m. and Thursdays 11 a.m. and 8:30 p.m. We would love to hear from you. Write in and share your thoughts, prayer requests, or even pose questions you may have regarding the Bible passages. Email plustvbelize@gmail.com. Foundations. Unless the Lord builds the house, those who build it labor in vain.
Mopping, tiles, furniture, and
Miss, you don't need all of this, man. Only this you need. You make 4 out of this. And it's cheaper than all of them put together.
I want it.
Green Clean. All your cleaning needs in one bottle. Do you enjoy learning and wanting to know more about Christ your Savior? Then join Phil Sanders in Search of the Lord's Ways every Sunday 7:30 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. on PlusTV for half an hour of beautiful hymns and Bible messages. Messages are repeated on Tuesdays at 1:30 and Fridays at 10:30 a.m. Search in the Word for God's will. Know more and do more for the God we love. In Search of the Lord's Ways with Phil Sanders is being brought to you by the Church of Christ in your area. Be sure to visit.
So when we face God, you know something. We're not saying God the love, but the Lord.
Spice up your next event with professional lighting. Call 610-5679 and give your audience an experience they'll never forget. Proper stage lighting ensures stage visibility, motivates, and sets the mood of the atmosphere. We provide services for weddings, concerts, parties, dance recitals, and much more. Captivate your audience. Improve your production today. Call Shamax Productions at 610-5679 for quality and professional stage lighting.
Are you hosting an event for your school, church, business meeting, conference, private function, and are in need of a PA system? Then call 610-5679 and have one thing less to worry about. Get your video, audio, lights, songs, and a family-oriented DJ needs met at one great price.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me Sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave my home, no other place me ever.
It is the 3rd or 2nd of April. It's the 3rd of April. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a beautiful day across the nation of Belize, and we give God thanks for the new day, and we welcome you to Rise and Shine. We're live on this beautiful April morning, and since it's Thursday morning, I am joined by Pastor Scott Sturm. Scott, good morning to you.
Louis, good to be with you as always. I always enjoy getting to sit next to you and talk about important issues that are affecting the nation.
Likewise.
And And I just want to encourage everybody, every one of us, we have the opportunity to be part of the answer and not part of the problem. And that's why we're here, Louis, to put words to that, to help everybody see what can we do, how can we affect things. And there's a time for us, there's a time to go to war, and there's also a time to press pause and say, war isn't always, there's a time for diplomacy, but you got to know the difference.
Correct. Let's start with the weather as we get into our conversation. This morning, April 3rd, as of 6 a.m. this morning, the general situation called for fresh to strong and mostly dry east-southeasterly airflow to prevail. In the next 24 hours, expect mostly, my mind wants cloudy, but this thing says sunny. Mostly sunny and warm today, and clear to partly cloudy skies tonight with little or no rainfall expected. Winds will be blowing from the east to southeast at 15 to 25 knots. No, that's rough. Yeah, rough seas with waves 7 to 8 feet. Therefore, a small craft caution has been issued with gusty winds, saying gusty winds and rough seas. Operators of small craft are advised to remain in safe harbor. Yeah, that's 25 knots. That's a lot. 20 knots, we get rough seas that you need caution, and 25, they're saying if you don't need to go, don't go out. To the seas, we're talking about marine conditions. Now, the temperatures. Inland, expect 96 degrees as the high with 74 as the low. I was telling Scott just before the break that we got 98. We got 98 yesterday in the Belmopan area. On the coast, expect 89 with 82 as the low, and in the hills, 84 as the high with 68 as the low. So in the hills, yes, it's always cooler in the hills, but at 84 is a kind of warm day in the hills. The outlook for Friday and Friday night is for similar weather conditions to prevail. And that is your weather report for this morning. So warm days ahead.
Louis, I had no idea on the temperature yesterday. The only thing I know, is sweat. Drip, drip, drip. So I sweat a lot, right? And so, but sweating is healthy.
Sweating is very good.
That's right. So we're healthy. This is the healthy season, not the dry season, right? So
we get rid of those toxins. Well, last night, President Trump had a very important press conference, or it was a speech to the nation on probably the White House lawn. And he called it America's Liberation Day. I don't think the world is happy.
Everybody else grabbed their head.
Everybody's saying, what liberation? But I think President Trump has been very, very clear, very, very clear that he believes, and most Americans, I mean the majority of Americans believe as well, that the United States has been taken advantage of in the area of trade.
But and a lot of people don't even know what that means, Louis. They don't have the foggiest idea. These ones that rail up, so they just join and they rail up, but they don't understand, right?
But what I noticed with Canada, with Australia, with United Kingdom, European Union, Mexico, they speak of the unfairness of what President Trump is doing, but they don't talk numbers. They don't say, yeah, we do have a 300% tariff on American beef. They don't talk numbers. Like there's a constant attempt to move the conversation to the emotional. All right, we're being taken advantage of. We're such good friends of yours. Why would you, at this point in time, do this, do that? But they don't say, what they don't say is, our stuff goes into America free, or our stuff goes into America because Americans want it. But that very same product can't come into our country unless it pays 30%, 50%, 100%, 300%. So, like what do you expect? So there's a minimum tariff of across the board of 10%, and Belize is a part of that. Belize will have to pay 10% as it relates to the stuff that it exports. But Belize is one of the better countries because it's
because we import so much in the
yeah,
first place.
of American stuff, right? But not only that, we charge heavy tariffs on American stuff. We charge. Yeah, there's nothing that I can get for this student that I'm not going to pay 50% tariff on. Vehicles, even old vehicles that are coming from the United States, stuff that America say is crap, right? Can't drive in the U.S. You have to tow it out of the U.S. and
drag it all the way to Belize,
and we still put
they put money on top of that.
Top of it,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So why are we complaining when we do exactly the same? So it becomes a problem only when America begins to do it. So and I think all of these countries that you see here, like right here, you can, except for, you see Falkland Islands, very wealthy, small island to the south of Argentina, they get slapped with a 40% reciprocal. And it says, White House estimate tariff rate against the United States. We could have gotten a number like that if the Trump administration really wanted to put pressure on small countries. They could have, because these are the small countries that depend on tariffs. Scott, our country depends on slapping tariff on everything coming into the country.
That's right. That's right. It's easier to collect it right there at the point of entry than to cut it loose and let it generate, and then try and collect it.
And then after it comes into our country, we still slap the sales tax on it.
Yes.
We still slap on top of that.
Louis, I believe, last time I remember, I believe we're looking at 50% of the price of a gallon of gas is all tax.
Right, it's all tax.
And so when the
so
price,
that's 100%.
When the price came down, it got down to around $9. We had $8 something. We hadn't seen that for years, and the government put a new tax to kick it back up because we done prove we could pay $11 or $12 a gallon, right? And
so how does Belize generate revenue? It's through tariffs.
Yes.
It's when the product crosses the border and comes into Belize. That's how we generate. And we've generated so much that the government keeps reducing income tax. Is that not so? And is that not the exact thing that Trump is preaching in the United States? It's the exact same thing. So
but everybody to rail up.
Everybody to rail up. Yeah. Everybody to rail up, right? Why? So it is clear that they have been satisfied with the status quo, which is to export their stuff without tariffs into the United States, but when the stuff from the United States comes out, they feel privileged to tax it to protect their own products indoor. So am I concerned? Yes, I am concerned. Am I concerned about Belize? Yes, I am concerned. But go sit around the negotiating table. Go sit around the negotiating table. And Scott, I was very impressed with Secretary of State Marco Rubio's trip to Jamaica. I saw the press conference. The Prime Minister of Jamaica presented their case behind closed doors. Even the issue with Cuba and doctors, they presented their case, showed the United States that they were not taking labor advantage of the Cuban doctors, that they were paying them, that they were not exporting money separately to Cuba for their services. In other words, they paid. And Jamaica came out. It was an excellent press conference. It was well done. Marco Rubio commended Jamaica for their work. Now, contrast that to Mia Mottley, who, on the other hand, is taking up for Jamaica, is making crazy and stupid comments like they can take away my visa. It's not her visa that they're going to take away. It's for the people in her country that probably want to travel out. So here we are in a situation now, because Mia Mottley talked early, acted as if she has some kind of hammer. I think she has aspirations for United Nations. Those are my thoughts on Mia Mottley. She wants to rise above her her island, and she thinks that she has regional and international appeal, so she's heading in that direction. So Belize cannot negotiate on its own, so I think the person who should negotiate for the Caribbean is the Prime Minister of Jamaica. That's the guy.
Yes,
That's the guy.
But Louis, this has happened in a number of situations where people that understand, okay, if we're not connecting together, they say, we just need to sit down and talk, and that's what the Prime Minister of Jamaica did. Lay out the case.
Just lay out the case.
Yes, and so all right, this is the plan, but this is where the holes are. If this continues like this, things are going to bleed. We got to fix these holes. Let's work together. And so said, so done. So one of the premiers from Canada said that. No. We're good friends with the United States. We're neighbors. We have been. We're going to continue to be. All we need to do is sit down and talk and work things out while others are, ready to, But the truth of the matter is, no disrespect to Canada, right? But everybody knows this. My wife is a Canadian, right? So I'm invested in Canada also. I'm part of Team Canada as well, right?
Yeah.
But Louis, Canada is heavily dependent upon the United States, even just for the protection of their own country. If the United States wasn't there, Canada couldn't defend themselves, right? And so, but on these trade things, Louis, what happens is they make these agreements. Other people have made these agreements that the United States is going to import way up to this level, but then when it comes to the United States to export into those countries, it's way down here. And this is an agreement, and that's what President Trump is saying. No. This can't work. This is not fair. And so China threatened war, and President Trump said, well, we could do war if you want, or we could negotiate a more fair trade agreement. And a couple months later, boom, and they have pictures, everybody's shaking hand and smiling because they're all happy. They get a deal. So it's just a matter of sitting down and working things out.
Correct. Because there is a restructuring. There is a restructuring, and the restructuring is necessary because America was well known for manufacturing. The manufacturing. I was watching some of the statistics that I think it's over 50,000 factories have closed in the United States. So the United States is no longer a manufacturing powerhouse. So when we think about manufacturing,
when you reach that point, that's the beginning of the end.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course. So it's like China. So, but America invented all of these things. If we take a look at the automobile, if we take a look at electricity, if you take a look at the telephone, and I could just go on and on and on of the things that America invented. Now, the thing about it is that why has America invented so much things? It's not that America or Americans are smarter than anybody else in the world, but America created the environment where you can invent something and it becomes your property, as opposed to inventing something and it becomes for the government, like Cuba, like Venezuela. The whole socialist mindset is, oh, it's for all of us. So there you go, you slave, you invent, you use your wisdom, and then that product is for all of us, even the freeloaders. And so people, it does not encourage entrepreneurship. It does. The socialist and communist agenda does not encourage free thinking and entrepreneurship. You take a look at the fact that in socialist and communist countries, the government owns and runs the utilities, and in socialist countries, they control the utilities. As it drifts farther and farther from socialism into communism, because that is what socialism is. It is a step before communism. They nationalize the banks. They nationalize the industries.
Government owns everything.
Government owns everything.
They own the bread factory.
Right.
They create all the vehicles.
Right.
They own everything.
So there is no incentive, Scott. There is no incentive for a very bright individual to say, I want to start my own business. I'm going to invest in a refinery. Because if he invests in a refinery, if the refinery begins to get successful, government will want to take it over. socialists, and there are a lot of socialists in Belize, there are a lot of socialist thinking in Belize, that these companies do not innovate. Why? And then it seeks to, because it's socialist, it seeks to want to pay everybody at the same rate. So here you are with a PhD, here you are highly educated, you're an innovator, and your government only wants to pay you what it pays everybody else. In Cuba, the doctor and the garbage collector get paid the same thing.
That's right.
And I've vetted it, I've checked it, I've spoken to Belizean students who have worked in Cuba.
I've been there.
You've been there.
I've been there.
Right.
I talked with them, yes. The taxi driver
Yes.
and the doctor, they both make the same per week, which at that time was like 20 US
Correct.
per week.
So what do you think the doctor is going to do? What do you think the doctor is going to do? He is going to look for the first opportunity to go to a country that is going to pay him for his value, or pay her for her value.
Well, and you have to give it to Cuba. They've done an amazing job in training doctors, right? And then that's part of the reason why they're spreading out.
Right.
They don't have the resources because you look at all the communist countries.
But those doctors don't go back.
That's the whole thing, because they found greener pastures someplace else where they can actually make money that Cuba cannot pay them. But Louis, China would not be who they are today, except that they were smart enough to look down the road and go, okay, all the other communist countries are poor. Look at North Korea, look at Cuba, all these countries, they're poor. We've got to change something. And they changed, and they started to allow for private ownership.
Exactly.
So they kind of did a little bit of a mixed system. They would not be where they're at today. They would not be a global power. They would be a very large and very poor nation if they stayed, because it takes away that personal incentive, right?
Absolutely. So that's what China has done. It's brought in a level of capitalism, but then it still controls shares within all of those companies. Alibaba, all of those, TikTok. That's why Trump started saying all of these companies right here, they are really government owned. So there's a face in front of it. Yes, those people are extremely wealthy. They do follow a capitalist model, but the socialism is right there.
It's a blend.
Right. So what Trump is doing is pulling the rug. He's pulling the rug from under them. So I think countries have just become accustomed to sending their products free into the United States, and then taking United States products that come in and putting a high tariff on it.
Yeah.
And then their economists are going out there saying it doesn't work, it won't work, it will never work, when all of the economists from those countries, their government is practicing the exact principle that Trump is implementing.
But Louis, President Trump's first term, okay? The U.S. election is set by the Constitution, the first Tuesday in November, right? So you always know that's, I don't like these snap election things, right? But anyways, that's when he was voted as president, but you don't actually get inaugurated until January 20th. During that time, it was like weeks after he was voted in as president. By Twitter, he sent out, a tweet at that time saying, all of you corporations that are outsourcing your products to be produced in other countries, get ready for a 30% import tax, right? And guess what happened? Apple announced that they're opening 5 new factories in the United States. Nissan, Toyota, all these, they're opening new factories. It happened again now, Louis. Apple just committed, I believe, Louis, I believe they committed, I can't remember, I think it's 500 billion. Not 500 billion.
I have the numbers.
500 billion. They committed that's what they're going to invest in the U.S. economy. In other words, they're going to start bringing those jobs back to the United States. And so, well, what about all the other poor people? Well, that's their country. They have to worry about their stuff, right? But I'm just saying, I think that the United States has the right to be able to make those decisions.
Absolutely.
Right? And so, but what happened, I have a friend who was working in the what's called mechanical engineering field, right? This is a nationwide company that did air conditioning and cooler units, not for PlusTV, not air conditioner installed in the, we're talking about like Google, and Apple. We're talking about, you know, hundreds of thousands square foot buildings, right? And they do air conditioning. And my friend told me before Donald Trump set foot in the White House, he said business is booming. Like just from the election, everything changed because businessmen could see what's going to happen. Things are going to start to develop. It's going to start to power up. So as much as I don't like some dynamics, Louis, of Donald Trump's style, right? I'm a fan of Ronald Reagan. He was a bridge builder. He would reach over across the house. As much as I don't like the New Yorker style of Donald Trump's, you know, leadership, when it comes to the business sense, when, you know, you hear stupid comments, what I consider to be rash comments, like we're going to make Canada the 51st state of the United States, right? But then
Gulf of America.
Yes. But then when you sit down and look at the numbers and realize, wait a minute, you know, but with the polar caps that are starting to melt, Canada is at risk, you know, and who's going to govern those waterways? And so there's some common sense to some of the crazy, seemingly crazy suggestions. I think my thing is, if he would present it in a different way, people would probably go, oh yeah, that makes sense. But he throws it out there, creates chaos, you know, in the marketplace of thoughts. But then afterwards, when the dust settles, you can see there's actually some very, very strong sense.
But it's because we're accustomed to political language, political lies, political sensitivity. He's not a politician.
He's a businessman.
He's a businessman,
Common sense.
So he sees the problem. They sit with the best people, come up with a solution, and he determines, when he is determined that that is the solution, then he moves towards it. There's a passage of scripture that I always quote. You know, a clean stable is desirable, but it takes a strong horse to bring in the harvest. Like
in other words, if you're going to get some stuff done, it's going to be a little bit dirty and thinking.
A strong horse, right?
Yes.
And so you say a clean stable is desirable, which is exactly what you said, you know, how I wish, you know. But the problem is that when you put those people, they not just wish, they become wishy-washy, right?
Yes.
They can't bring in the harvest. They can't bring in the harvest. So the harvest is not pooping all over the place, but it's also not bringing in your harvest.
It's just eating.
Yeah, it's eating. It may even poop outside.
Money.
Yeah, it may actually go to the bathroom and poop, and your stable is clean, but where's your harvest?
That's right.
Where is your harvest?
That's right.
And so when you need a harvest, if you want a harvest, then you need a strong horse to bring the harvest in, and a strong horse may poop all over the place.
Yes.
It's such a powerful passage of scripture, you know, and so when I see people like that, I just say, that's a strong horse. That's it for me. I have no problem with it. I said, that's a strong horse, because there are certain things that so much need to be done. You see, some people ask the question why Christians in the United States so love Donald Trump and why they vote for him. Christians needed a strong horse on issues like abortion, on issues like diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Religious freedoms.
The religious freedom.
Family protections.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so the Christians say, oh yeah, it's going to poop all over the place. Yeah, but we need a strong horse. That is literally exactly what happened. If you take a look at El Salvador, right? The #1 murder capital of the world. They've had presidents
for years. I think I might even be decades.
Decades, right. Just afraid I would not go to El Salvador during those periods of time. You just look at the number of gangsters that have already been arrested, and you realize that country was totally out of order.
Infested.
Yeah, and the people decided they wanted a strong horse. It's really scriptural. That's how I see it. And so Bukele comes in, and Bukele says, I'll deliver it. I will deliver it. And I have a passage of scripture where they talk about God, where the minister of defense said that all of this is impossible without God. He said, because the people prayed.
Yes.
That's what he said.
The church is strong in El Salvador. Yes,
He said the people prayed to God because of the murder rate. He said because they were losing their family members, they were losing. I sat there and I just listened as the government official said. They said this is a miracle. He said our people prayed, and it's a response from heaven to the violence. He said because we were losing so many people, so many families, so many people dying. He said so this is a response from heaven, and it is impossible without God. And their guns are there because they show you these are the guns that the police officers have to go out and they make arrests and they patrol that nation, and people get thrown in jail, the gangsters and so on. But they are now a very, 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 very safe country because a strong horse has arrived that is cleaning up the mess.
Louis, these were public comments. Yeah. They shoved the microphone in people's face. You know, your president, people call him a tyrant and a dictator, and people respond back and say, if he's a tyrant and a dictator, then we needed a tyrant and a dictator because our streets were not safe. Yeah. Our kids, you know, are free to walk home from school without fear. You know, and so it's totally changed their country. I think when he went back for re-election, Louis, 90 something percent. What politician, you know?
Without manipulating the polls.
Without manipulating, and so, anyways, and this is what I love, Louis. Did you know that his security detail, the guys, his Secret Service guys in El Salvador, they're all Christians, and they're all prayer warriors. It was on the list of requirements. Are you a prayer warrior? Can your pastor verify that you are? So they got these big, buff guys who understand security, but they're prayer warriors, right? And so, like, it makes me want to cry, Louis, and I want that for Belize. I already am a prayer warrior, you know, for our prime minister and our leaders, but I would love to see a security detail that's filled with the Spirit of God, you know, because they understand those dynamics. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, right? And so that's where we want to go.
Amen. You see, so that's the passage of scripture, you know, that comes to mind, and it was done as well in Argentina. In 1 year, that guy turned around Argentina. Melee, right. And you see, they're strong horses, and they come in, they're God-fearing, they understand their job. They understand the assignment. And so I wanted to put up because I did take a picture of this is what Donald Trump has been able to, these are new investments that will come into the United States.
Yeah, Apple 500 billion with a B.
See there, 500 billion.
Yes.
And look at the United Arab Emirates, 1.4 trillion. So this is 2 trillion. $2 trillion worth of investment that will be made in the United States. Just Donald Trump is in since January 21st. This is 2nd, 3rd of April. Hyundai is coming in, Apple is coming in, NVIDIA. So look at that. All of those things, the chip was invented in the United States. The whole semiconductor, all invented in the United States. Got all of the patents, all of the investment to promote the industry, the investment in the laboratories and so on, the computer, that's, you know, all Macintosh, you remember from the very early days. This is, I think the computer was developed probably through the defense. I think it was through defense. Internet it comes from America. It was through
they call it tactical to practical, right?
Yeah.
It starts for tactical purposes, but then it goes over. It's establishing practical dynamics that can change the world.
And the reason, Scott, is because when we set lofty goals, when you set very high goals like going to the moon, going to Mars, etc., all your resources, both human resources and material resources, go towards that end. And so, like, you have to invent new products. So, like, if we're going to live on Mars, you know, like, what's the temperature? You know, what's the distance? How do we reach there faster? So because you set lofty goals, and that's one of the things that Americans are able to do because the government is not going to come and cut them off. is not going to come and take their product. So it starts from a very, I want our viewers to understand that it starts from the principle of protecting intellectual property and the fact that if you invent it, you deserve to make a profit from it.
Yes, yes, yes.
This is capitalism, right? And that by itself, the fact that you know that if you buy this house and you buy this land, government will not take it away from you. You can invest in that house. You can say, okay, well, I'm going to put more money in this house because I know I'm going to get my money back. The government is not going to suddenly change one day and a Maduro is going to come and turn it into a government, or a Fidel Castro is going to come. Belizeans, I want Belizeans to understand the concept of capitalism, understand the concept of entrepreneurship, and why those countries are successful, because of free enterprise, because they recognize that you're made in the image and likeness of God, you have value and you bring value into the world, and that you have a right to benefit from the value that you bring. Belizeans need to understand that that is not socialism. It is capitalism. It is free market enterprise. So when you set a lofty goal like going to space, all of your best minds, you need first of all your best minds, you need financing, and so you begin to develop materials that have never been developed before, communication methodology that never been done before, move transportation, and so those things, even though you are not at Mars yet, you are at such a high level of invention that those goods begin to find themselves into everyday use. It's what you said exactly, which is from tactical to practical. So that as you innovate to these lofty goals, new products enter into the market. And that's how AI come about, because we, as humans, we think too slow. We have the information, but to process the information, it is too slow. So you need AI. And then AI needs faster processors. And then faster processors need new semiconductors. And so you need to go mining for new semiconductors. And that is how the economy rolls, as opposed to our governments and form of system where everybody wants free health care, free medical care, we want free housing, but we're not innovating. And so very soon, the economy, because you're giving everybody everything, but you're not pulling stuff out of the ground and creating new products, slowly your economy caves in. And that's what's beginning to happen to Europe. Sorry for the rant, but I hope people get a very, very clear understanding of why capitalism and free enterprise moves the world forward. So here comes the automobile, here comes the train, here comes the telephone, here comes electricity, here comes. And now, because of the free trade issue now, all of these companies, which are American companies, go for the cheapest labor, and so they're all over the world. And Donald Trump is saying, hey, it's time for you to come back.
That's right.
Home.
Because, Louis, what they're trying to create is something that's very, very important. It's something that's called work, W-O-R-K. When nations start to gravitate away from work, like I said, it's the beginning of the end, right? And so people need to be put to work. People can get in there and create things, right? And then a government's job is actually not to get in there and do it, but help facilitate the private sector, right, to where they're creating these things. So that's part of what's happening right now in this transition, Louis.
So
I just had one other comment, because we need to see this. Louis, there's something about human nature, I would say fallen human nature, right, that where what we're witnessing that's been happening in the United States, where because the government is this big vat, it's this big money pot. And it's the same thing here in Belize. Why do people get involved in politics, Louis? They get involved in politics to get close to the money pot. And then we become professional money pot grabbers, right? And then you'll look at with the kind of the laziness of that human nature where people are just sucking off of the system and not doing it. They're becoming multi-millionaires and multi-billionaires. And what's their job? Well, they're a politician. Where are they getting their money? This is their salary, and it becomes corrupt. And so what happens is, this is why when Milei came into Argentina, he chopped off 1/3 of the government. I think they've gone close to half. Chopped it off because, like, this is all just excess baggage. This is like, you want to talk about being overweight, you know, like we can't even move. We're so overweight. And so he came in and chopped these things. Donald Trump is doing the same exact thing. He's cleaning things up. Yes.
Cleaning corruption.
And trying to take steps to create work. WORK. Lewis, when Barack Obama, I'm not talking about skin color, I'm talking about mindset and mentalities. When Barack Obama was president of the United States, the number of people on welfare tripled. Government giving away money to people because they're saying, you can't do it by yourself. You need the government. That's the beginnings of communism right there, right? And so, where you come in and you create jobs, you tell me a man, I mean, anybody that doesn't want to show up at a job to work and make money that they've earned, to where Friday payday come home with 2 pizzas and the kids are all, Daddy's home, and everybody's happy, and you know, they have pizza time and watch a movie or whatever, family times or whatever. What I'm saying is, anybody that doesn't have that desire, something has gone wrong in their heart and in their mind. People, there's that innate desire inside of us that people want to work. They want to be involved in something significant, and they want to make their own money to where they can spend that how they want to spend it. And families can make decisions, and they can buy a house and all these different kind of things. But that doesn't happen when people are just left, you know, as sucking off of the government. And that doesn't happen when politicians are the chief parasites, you know, that are sucking off of the government. So this is with AI, with the advent of AI, they're utilizing that to be able to just go through and see where everything's going. And Lewis, it's not a nice picture. And the reason why, the loss of character, the loss of morality, the loss of WORK, work, the loss of sweat, people showing up for a job every day, you know, this, that. And so you start to lose your moral foundation. You know, so said, so done. Look at where things were going in the United States, and now everything is shifted, right? And so, no. Men are not going to compete against women in sports. This is absolute craziness. Common sense is back. When Biden came in, you know what they said? The adults are back in the White House, right? And so I would say now common sense has come back into the White House. Love it or hate it, some of it, like I said, I wish President Trump would do it differently, but I believe the end game is going to be fruitful.
I believe so. Carla, let's take this call. Carla, good morning.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize we had a call. I thought you were queuing a video. Sorry.
Carla, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah. Common sense, no common. That's a gift from God to me. You know, it is my, getting me clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. Because I can't leave. Anyway, yeah, good. It is my thought and mine, and I would have said mine alone. You getting me the pass?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Thanks. Yeah. As I say, it is my thought, or in times of thinking. I like think, you know. I like think. I don't like people think for me, but I do listen. Yeah. In times of thinking, for over 4 decades, 40 odd years, on the idea, and I believe I have been mentioning it on Rise and Shine in the past, that the smaller the vehicle of motor, the less custom duty is paid. Then you attract small vehicles because space is taken up by these big F-350, big SUV. That when we gain common sense or common intelligence, man, yes, I say yes, we pay less duty, and yes, my conscience mind tells that collection on revenues will decrease, of course, you see, Of course it will. But the rationale or the sound judgment of good sense predicts me, all right, that road structure and maintenance will intelligently protect finance or public revenues because we have less pounding on the road surface. Not only that, the smaller the vehicle, all right, the more appropriate space we have for moving, either moving or non-moving. Right now, man, they like you to put 100 pound weight per 150 pound bag. That is what they affect with to the day. Man, on this I could stay all year because that's something they use me binoculars for quite some time. You see. But I know they condemn. I not say how they condemn the current, nor wanting to convince. I'm only contributing to a cause, all right, to a cause to me which could become very much worthy. In other words, it is food for thought for quite some time, but nobody listens to tourists. Who is tourists? No, in Ghana High School, in good pan technology. Anyway, my friends, it was a pleasure. You all take care. Enjoy your day.
Thank you very much, Sir Carl.
Louis, Mr. Torres called yesterday just to say hi.
Yes, because several people have been saying, where is Mr.
Torres, right? I thought he got moved to the States or moved someplace else or whatever. So good to hear from you, Mr. Torres.
Absolutely. So I wanted to put up back the chart on the 2 billion, 2 trillion is more than 2, but yeah, you see here, so like the countries, and you see Merrick is there, Nvidia is there, Apple is there, Oracle is there, aerospace. So you see what's happening there. Semiconductor is the technology. These people know that the country that is pushing technology, like internet for satellites, from satellites, it's the United States. So the country that is far ahead in these things. Yes, all of these companies you see here, they would put their factories anywhere in the world where they can get the cheapest labor, but at the same time they can get the biggest profit, and at the same time still access the American market. And so what Trump is doing is he's setting the fence higher so that they have to ask themselves the question, okay, does it make more sense for me to continue to have my factory outside of the United States because my product is good? Scott, these companies know who's buying their product.
That's right.
They know where their product is going. And it ain't China, it isn't Belize, it isn't whatever. The biggest consumer is the United States. And so they realize that now that the bar is higher, they have to get into the United States to produce those things because they're either producing it for the army, they're producing it for the navy, they're for the military, they're producing it for the space, they're producing it. So no, countries like Belize, like we are saying, okay, how is this going to affect us? How is this going to affect us? Well, the argument has always been far above our heads. The argument is number 2. All right, so number 1 is the United States. Number 2, as a collective, is the European Union. Sorry, number 2 is China. Number 3, as a collective, is the European Union. And then number 4 is India. And the problem with the European Union, which is complaining the most, separate from China, the problem with the European Union is it has some of the highest tariffs against United States products.
Yeah.
The European Union. And so the European Union is the same one that benefit from the military protections of the United States, right? They're benefiting, but They do not want American products to come into their country. And so they have a lot of tariffs. So like, for example, they say like German cars, welcome in United States, American cars, not welcome in Germany. Right. And so there's a lot of it. So what Trump is doing, he's doing for his country. But in a world that thinks that once you're rich, you must thief it. In a world, you know, that thinks that it runs on handout, I think it must be very difficult to swallow the reshuffling of the cards where America is saying, okay guys, game over. I think we need to make America strong again. We need to make America great again. But the entire world has benefited from a strong United States. The world has benefited. And as I said, if you think of a lie, then you're on a computer, you're on a laptop, you're on a cell phone, you have electricity. The world has benefited, and the entire economy of the world has been based upon things created by United States. And I dare tell that to anybody, because the world is run now on the internet. Where did the internet come from? The internet is connected to a computer. Where did the computer comes from? And I could just, so it's not a difficult conversation for a person who wants to, that if America is great again, the world is going to be great again in that sense. Now, the shocks of the restructuring, because all of the markets, they're already accustomed, oh, Apple, you know, you're making millions of dollars status quo, billions, trillions of dollars, so I put my stock in Apple. Apple now has to reinvest in the United States, so the people who are trading on the market, of course, the market is going to react. But after it reacts, what is the next step? It adjusts. After it reacts, it adjusts. And then should those principles work, then who will buy stock? The same people who complain when they see that it begins to take off, the stocks go up again. And that is what the stock market is all about.
That's right. And Louis, I think it's important for us to talk about these things, because it does affect Belize. There's a trickle down that affects Belize, right? But Louis, I find this to be very, very important. I can't remember the guy's name, but he was the first African-American multi-billionaire. He was the owner of BET, Black Entertainment Television, and then I think he sold it to one of the big multi-international, you know, corporations or whatever. But before President Trump's first term, he made a very profound statement. He went public. He put it on Twitter. He said, if things don't change with the Democrats real fast, I'm voting for Trump. He said, I have always been Democrat. My family, my parents, we've always been Democrat. He said, but Democrats have lost their way. Like they're going after foolishness. And this man understands money and he understands economics. And if things don't change real fast, I am voting for Donald Trump, because he knows how to make things move, right? And so said, so done. So I'm just sharing that with us. You know, love him or hate him, whatever your biases are, I think that the proof is going to be in the pudding, right? And I think that Belize, if we position ourselves properly and carefully, and if we embrace those character qualities of morals and character and hard work and ingenuity and all of that, Belize can get a bigger slice of the pie. We just have to get in there, and you need to work for it, right? But Louis, I didn't know this guy personally, but he was a friend of a friend, and who was the security detail for a multi-billionaire guy coming into Belize, looking at setting some things up. And he called me and asked if I could come, you know, for coffee. So we're sitting down and talking. So what's going on? Well, my boss is a multi-billionaire. I head up security, you know, for him, and this and that and that. And so he's interested in Belize. He's meeting with the government right now, you know, and guess what happened? They left from Belize shaking their heads at no deal signed, because the primary driver in this sitting down at the table was, what's in it for me? And just the selfish greed. It was so clearly obvious. This guy was talking about investing billions of dollars. What he was wanting to do, Lewis, was going to require for him to build a technical university to train people in Belize in the level of technology of what's needed to be able to do. And they moved and went someplace else, and so I'm just sharing that to say these kind of dynamics, it does affect us in Belize, right? And there's so much more that we could be doing with what we have, and I think that we need to go there, and we need to go there carefully, and we need to go there in a balanced way. We don't need to sign our soul away for some kind of stupid deal. We need to be wise or whatever, but there's so much more that we could be doing. Industry. Our national prayer talks about, the benefit of industry and industrialness in our nation. Industry means you're producing stuff, you're making things, you're creating things. Lewis, there's so much more that we could be doing. And I believe, I guess what I'm prophesying is, I believe a breakthrough in our nation, a real breakthrough is also going to be seen in that area of industry and people being put to work and actually generating stuff that we can do and be able to make good money for the nation of Belize.
All right, we'll take a break and we'll be right back. It's 15 minutes after 8 o'clock. Thank you so much. So many of you are joining our conversation through streaming, etc. We want to hear from you. 822-2031 when we return. We'll be right back after these messages.
Land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize. Land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya, living in peace.
Make light work lighter and quicker with switch technology from Axi Power Tools. Axi Switch technology breaks the bondage of power cords and grants you the luxury of freedom and precision. Switch one battery across all your Axi line power tools effortlessly, allowing for quick and efficient work. Cut the cords. Choose efficiency with Axi Switch technology. Only at Benny's. Quality and savings.
20 years ago, we built a company that is about more than just connection through technology. We've been partners in progress, empowering communities, nurturing growth, and strengthening bonds. We've grown together, lifting not just businesses, but dreams, not just communities, but families. Because true success isn't measured in years, but in the lives we've touched, the opportunities we've created, and the connections we've made together.
As a Smart customer for the past 18 years, they have provided me with exceptional value and connected me to the most significant moments in my life.
For 20 years, Smart has been a pioneer in telecommunication innovation, from offering services in underserved areas to launching promotions that increase your connectivity.
They go beyond calls. They're committed to a brighter future for us all. That's why I'm proud to stand behind them.
As we look ahead, our mission to enrich your lifestyle with affordable, innovative, and cutting-edge wireless communication solutions is stronger than ever. We'll continue to connect what matters most, you. Smart, celebrating 20 years of bringing people together.
Plex Home Builders is the largest house building company in Belize. Pletz combines the best skilled workers, high-grade materials, and the latest technology to produce the highest quality wooden residential structures. Request any size, color, and the home layout you want. Choose from hardwood or painted metal outer walls. Pletz can modify any of their existing house plans to your satisfaction. Complete with all the installation services you need anywhere in the country, including ambergris Cree. They can also lift your house to your desired height up to 9 feet. From properly treated and cured lumber to quality sidings and floorings, let Pletz Home Builders give your home the finish you need. For prices or questions, call 823-0398 or go to www.pletzhomebuilders.com. Pletz Home Builders, we build to suit your needs.
When you done hear about how you could shop online with Builders Hardware?
It's easy and convenient. Plus, you get special deals and discounts online where you not get in at the store. Just log on to shopbuildersbz.com and pay with your Visa, MasterCard, debit or credit card. You could choose to pick up your order from the smart Locanet at Builders or Easy could deliver for you. If that's a big thing, the Builders truck could deliver for you. If you need more information about anything, you could start chat right here online with a salesperson. We're ready to help you. No need to burn gas and waste time in a traffic. Go to shopbuildersbz.com.
Tell me, what about I want today?
I recently done a Red Gal video. I get more views than Harriet. And you know one person had the nerve to post that I am not even a Red Gal? I mean, like, what that mean anyway?
Well, here what about me? Every time I go buy meat pie, and I go, so, nothing in there. Nothing. So this is my issue. I over 18. I don't want no one artist. And you could believe my man still expect me for wash dishes? Look at time for that. I owe them for dishes. Yes.
And you, sir?
Well, I don't really got them kind of problems, you know. Ever since I switched to DJ and signed up for my unlimited postpaid plan, life stress-free. Nothing bother me or my connection no more.
Prepare for the heat and stay cool with a Reamer Gree air conditioning unit from Benny's. Choose the right BTU unit size for your bedroom or living room and enjoy complete comfort. You can also save money with an inverter unit that is energy efficient. When the heat is on, stay cool and comfortable with an affordable, dependable AC unit from Ream or Gree. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me Sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place me ever roam could be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me Sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya, living in peace. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me Sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place me ever roam could be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya, living in peace. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know, nobody know. If I ever had to leave my home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize.
Beautiful, beautiful Thursday morning. It's 8:25 in the studios of Plus TV. We've got a few more minutes to go, so we want to hear from you. 822-2031. I was saying that when Orozco did one of his interviews, where he was talking about me as the Senate select for the churches, he said Louis Wade is an anti-Marxist. And I was like, yes!
You could create a little badge and put that on your shirt. Anti-Marxist.
I was like, yes, absolutely. Because that's the problem with Obama. That's the problem. No, the entire Democratic Party, I think, has moved fully into that direction.
Yes, yes, yes.
Where there's socialism, big government, interfering in all the different areas.
Yes, control.
Yeah,
Terrible amounts
I was
of control.
so shocked. Well, the United Kingdom, but my poor niece had a doctor's appointment, and it was like for the following year or something like that, that she could go and see a specialist. Like she had this, and I was like, what?
You have this growth that might be cancerous, and they're going to give you an appointment for next year.
Health for everybody.
That's right.
Health for everybody, but the price is so high because government will pay it. We're watching NHI right now. You know, we're watching NHI because that is now government paid health care. So we can still access health care privately, but the more government begins to pay to pay the price, the medicines begin to go up because government will pay. So if I can prescribe something to you, I'll prescribe it because government will pay. And then slowly over time, the cost goes up, where now you can't go to a private doctor because it becomes so expensive because government will pay. Now you have to go into the government system, and there you will, the amount of time to see a specialist. So I think she had to come, she came back to Belize and saw the specialist in Belize.
It was probably cheaper than to fly all the way to the other side of the world.
You know, so Thomas Sowell says that free everything is a game for, like it's a child's game for adults.
Yes.
We want free education, free all of these things, not realizing that there's nothing free in life, and that somebody is going to have to pay for it. And I think that's the mindset, because what the Democrats were doing, they were literally like, once you appear at the border, when you apply through the app, you gained entrance, and they give you a court date, and your court date, because so many people were coming in here 6 or 7 years, 6 or 7 years. So within that period of time, you disappear into the system, then you get a social, and I saw an article here where even a Belizean that was illegal got to vote in these. I think there's hell to pay, but when I saw a extended presentation by Elon Musk and another guy that he brought in, this guy was the owner of several companies, but left his company just to come to Washington and work with Doge for a period of time. You know, and they were saying that when they calculated the amount of illegal immigrants that came just under Biden's term, they can safely say that the only thing that it could be is for votes.
That's it. That's it.
He said for votes.
And votes so that you wind up with a one-party dominated system for the next however many years. Why? Because these parasites that we call political leaders are just there to suck off of the money pot. And so, Louis, I just find it astounding, the stuff that's being revealed of what's happening in the United States. But it's the truth of the matter is it's happening in Belize also, right? But what about accountability, right? If we have accountability, and then if we have people that really believe in something, and then they say, wait, no, the government is paying for these. This is people's hard-earned tax monies, and so then you're pushing for a tight system. Then yes, it can work, but it's when you have good people with good values and good accountability and all that. But when you turn your head in those kind of systems and money just starts going, right? That's where, under the previous administration, Louis, our biggest roundabout in Belize City, the price tag on that was $675,000. And then we get these other roundabouts that are going for 13 million. You can't figure what's going on. And then you hear from some of the contractors that can't finish these projects because as soon as they get paid, every minister in government wants to meet them somewhere, and they need a brown bag of money, and by the time they finish paying all these guys, there's nothing left to do the next tranche, of work. And so anyways, Lord have mercy. But what I'm trying to drive at is that, you guys, these things won't work without good people, but with good people, we can make it work. And that's why I was saying at the beginning, Louis, we got to be part of the answer and not part of the problem.
We'll take that call.
All right.
Carl, good morning.
Morning.
That's true. We have to be vigilant on all these things that are happening in the world. And in our little country, Belize, people are paid to go and vote. Now they have all of this freely, and people don't want to work. People are coming to your place and they're asking you how much you pay. Here in San Pedro, we pay more than what the payment is supposed to be per hour. And when you go out to vote, if you see a group of people, they're asking you, so how will it happen? What we want to do now? What we want to do? Big men and women are standing online, waiting to be paid for their vote. And the next thing is we are creating a group of people that are being paid to eat, to drink, to dance, to do all kinds of stuff. And at the end of the day, these people are not thinking about the future of their children. The future of our children is in our hands. And we don't have nothing to give them. It is such a crying shame what has been happening all over the world.
Yes.
But in my little world, in my country, Belize, that whoever plays the piper, pays the bill. And you know what? At the end of the day, our children suffer. Look here in San Pedro. Selling the fishing atolls, the conservation that we have been taking care of for many years. Where would we go? What would have been of San Pedro if the group of this island that stayed and survived with the most count of orphans, because we didn't have engines, we only had sailboats. Where we would have been if we would have walked away from this jewel, from San Pedro. So you know what? This is a wake-up call, and thank you, gentlemen, for bringing what is happening. This is a wake-up call because people don't want to work. Everything free for them. And I cite in the States when the kids were, when the people were in, go to Blue Cross or to the doctors. Doctors don't care, you know. They want to sign the paper and go try them, and at the end of the day, who they pay for it? Hard, honest, working people from the country. And Belize has those kinds of people. So Let's wake up.
That's right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Wake up.
Scott, Belize's number one trade partner is the United Kingdom. Belize's number two trading partner is the United States. But the difference is that the United Kingdom trades with Belize out of obligation. We need to understand that. It's not because we have the best prices or the best product. It's just that vestige of the very same thing where people they go to cuss you out about colonialism, all that kind of stuff. They're cussing out England about colonialism, but what the politicians are not telling you is that the United Kingdom is the one who we export to United Kingdom as number one. And United Kingdom can very, very easily one day just wake up and say, okay, Belize, you're independent now. You're becoming a republic, whatever it is that you want.
Tell us in broad Creole,
I just watched the whole thing, because when you listen to some of the media houses and politicians and social media people, you don't understand how Belize's economy is upheld by United Kingdom and United States. Here are the two largest trading partners, of which the United Kingdom is only buying our product out of obligation, not because of quality. America is buying, for the most part, out of quality. America is buying, but we still import more from the United States than we export to them. So the trade balance is in the opposite direction because we don't produce much here in Belize.
And if we're not producing to the quality that it needs, right? Then we find ourselves we are in a DEI agreement with the United Kingdom where there's other qualities and other characteristics that is being raised about rather than just the quality of our product, right? Yeah. But Louis, these are big issues, right? But that's why I'm wanting to hammer this morning, even as the caller was talking about, this is a wake-up call. We need to waken our hearts, awaken our minds. God knows what he's doing when he talks about these kind of dynamics in relation to corruption and in relation to stealing money from the government and bloated contracts that seems to just go through and nobody does anything, where we don't have the consequences, right? And so, but I'm just encouraging us because we need to fight for our nation. And Louis, it's common sense. Like it requires goodness. It requires good values. It requires hard work. Imagine what our nation would be like, Louis, if we had more people that had the ability to show up at a job and work all day long. People talk about the problem is unemployment. Well, not necessarily. A large part of the problem is unemployability. So most of these people don't have the ability, they don't have the consistency in their life to show up for a job every day and put in a full day's work. They don't have the ability to, if somebody tells them how to do it the right way. Watch out, you don't have my pie, you can't lash me. You come out with all, it's not unemployment, it's unemployability. And then that translates into character, which to me translates right into our homes and our families. Are we raising our children to become productive members of society? So I'm just sharing this. That's how the pieces of the puzzle all fit together in most of all of the conversations that we talk about here on Rise and Shine. It's like an engine, Louis. You got all the different parts that have to be bolted together.
Take another.
Okay, good. I didn't realize we had another call.
Those cars, caller. Thank you.
Morning.
Good morning to my two good friends, Pastor.
Morning, Don Hector.
You're touching a very sensitive point just now about that misconception about colonialism being attached to our relations in the Commonwealth of Nations. I have heard some pseudo-intellectuals in the list that I make a so stupid statement. Oh, we don't want to be with the Queen, so to hell with Commonwealth. They went as far as to remove Commonwealth Day on the 24th of May. Who was that mastermind that did it? insulting the institution which gives us the support of 54 nations: India, Australia, New Zealand, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Singapore, the whole of Africa, the Caribbean, Canada. These people went, who was that powerful person that said, remove the 24th of May, that for 100 years was the traditional day that we celebrated because of that Commonwealth brotherhood. But no, it goes further. There are, in my opinion, satellites within our country that are trying to break away from the attachment of friendship with the United Kingdom that has been our protector. Every time Guatemala made a move, Britain was right down with their soldiers and harriers. Now we say, get away from England. That has been a strong thing there going on. Then, now everything that sounds colonialism, they say, they don't even know what is colonialism. For example, Regent Street was changed and given another name, Nation Card. I put a bridge in the Nation Card. But to remove what was there, when we found it, we, and I repeat, we, because I am part of that, we founded this country, we struggled for this country. Never in our mind did we have any intention to remove the history of Belize. The history. So that is one of the things they are doing. Destroy the history of Belize. Destroy the attachment with our Commonwealth brothers. And we can very well pay the consequences of that. Who is going to defend us if something happens right now? We don't want the United Kingdom. We don't want nothing with the Commonwealth. Who is going to defend us? Not Mr. Trump at this moment. Not Mr. Trump at this moment. I think Mr. Trump is more interested in bigger nations like Jamaica, where Rubio is right now. Rubio has kicked Belize. Went to El Salvador, went to Guatemala, now he's in Jamaica. Poor little Belize is right here and waiting to see what Rubio has to say about it. So I close with that and try to tell these pseudo-intellectuals that are bringing out not to be so ignorant about what is Belize and our connection with the outer world, the Commonwealth, our greatest partner. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Don Hector.
Thank you very, very, very much as we wrap up our program this morning. Scott, a nation like Belize, the elephants are fighting and we are the ants on the ground. And we need to, like I said, we need to be like Jamaica. We need wholeness. The Prime Minister of Jamaica, he has the inside track. He has the inside track. Bukele has the inside track. Bukele say, okay, you're getting rid of immigrants, the gang ones that the countries don't want them back, bring them over here to me. You got to know how to play the game. Belize, a lot of Belizeans like talk big. And I've sat in the PCC, I've sat at many of these conversations where people have they express very anti-American feelings. We look at Caleb talking about white Christian nationalist stupidity. But let's look at the reality. The biggest investor in Belize is America, by far. By far, the biggest investors in Belize. So you go and look at the condos that are being sold in Placencia, San Pedro, the resorts, they're Americans. They are Americans. So America is heavily vested in Belize. We want America money, but we want to cost them out. We want to cost them out. We want to play the prejudice card and take their money. Number two, the tourists that are coming into the country. The millions of tourists that are coming into the country of Belize, they're not coming from Cuba, they're not coming from Venezuela, they're not coming from Guatemala, they're not even coming from the United Kingdom and Europe. Our tourists by far come from the United States of America. And the United States of America is the only country that sends teams into Belize. Christian churches that they come in, sometimes 40, 50, I think Youth to the Mission had about 70.
Almost 80.
Almost 80 of people who catch the plane to come to Belize to build your classroom, build your school, build your park, donate children park and slides, set it up free of cost, eat your food, stay in your hotels. Not another country in the world are Americans paying their way to, are people paying their way to come into Belize to build classrooms, schools, churches, homes for individuals. We want to cuss out America and then have our hand out like this. Me decide, Scott, all of these BPOs that you're seeing popping up all over the country, BPO is now bigger than sugar in this country. Huge buildings that are going up where thousands of Belizeans are working. They're all answering calls, say, then they try to talk American as best as they could in their best standard English, because who are the clients on the other end of the telephone line? It's America. Wake up, Belize. We like talk too much. We like talk fool. Honor to whom honor is due. That is what the Bible says. Honor to whom honor is due. And so it's not just the BPOs, it's the planes that fly into Belize. Who are the planes that are flying into Belize? I can go on and on and on. So we want to talk radical, leftist, socialist ideology. We want to talk racism. Then we want to have our hand out like this. And I'm saying the elephants are fighting. You, the ants, better know which corner for go stand up. And this is why entrepreneurship is important, where we learn to take our tomato and turn it into ketchup, so we don't have to import as much. And very, very slowly, we ourselves need to move into manufacturing and producing, etc., and move on. That's why the Mennonites are wealthy. The Mennonites are now driving their tractors with satellite and laser point precision, and they started from agriculture. You started agriculture as your base, and you begin to work your way up all the way into the technological. So we in Belize, right now as we speak, the cane farmers, the quarrel again with ASR. ASR, what the A stand for? You know what the A stand for?
American?
American. It's American for our sugar. So you know, like it's either or. You can't have your cake and eat it. So people, yeah, right. So you might call me pro-American or whatever it is. I'm just reading you the cards on the. I'm reading you the cards on the table. On the table. Grateful for the Cuban doctors. Grateful for them, you know. But me never to like the Petrocarib, and we said it because I refuse to take money from a country where there are people who are starving. The Venezuelans were starving, and then we are importing their socialism. It was just all favor. And where are Venezuelans going? You know where Venezuelans are going? Where are the Cubans going, Scott? If you have to be tired when they pump and put old board on it, where then they go?
They want to go north.
They go in the States.
Yes.
They go in the States. Why? Opportunity. So make we done with fool. We could be a land of opportunity too. So that is Trump's, these are my closing comments, and after that you, but that's Trump's job. Just make America great again. That's Trump's job. Here in Belize, we have our own prime minister or our own government. Their job is to make Belize great. And we are here to try to help. as much as we can. That's right. But we get best practices. We don't want worst practices. We want best practices. Those are my closing comments.
All right. Thank you, Louis. Well, I want to say, Louis, you know, United States was built on a vision, and I believe Belize was built on a vision also, right? But the caller mentioned earlier, they called in talking about our children, right? And leaving a nation for our children and for our children's children. That needs to be one of our primary visions. We need to get our eyes open to be able to see the future. But then, Louis, that has to trickle down to what? To values, to character, right here, right now. This is our job and this is our call. And developing those kind of dynamics, developing that heart and that character. Louis, my wife and I, and it was just the inspiration of God, we did something with our kids when they were growing up. We told our children, any amount of money that you save up for something that you want to buy, the amount of money that you save up, your mom and I will match that. And what we were trying to do is to teach our kids how to be able to save their money, teach them how to work and how to earn money, but how to save that money. So if one of our kids wanted something that's going to cost $300, all they had to do is save up $150 because mom and dad were going to kick in the other half. And so it wasn't about buying the thing, it was more so about developing that character in their lives. Then we watched our kids and all of them grew up, they all knew how to make money, they all knew how to save money. Why? Because we built a system within our family. And this is what I want to finish out with. The Bible says, without a vision, the people perish. Another translation is the people cast off restraint. Louis, what is restraint? Restraint is when you restrain yourself. It's when you hold yourself back. Why? Because it's discipline. It's self-control. Without a vision, the people cast off restraint. People just broke loose and just go after anything because they don't have any character, they don't have any values, they don't have any morals, there's no sense of right or wrong. So I'm challenging us along these lines. That's part of the reason why Belize has a tough time, Louis, like you were saying. We want the other's money, but then we don't know how to correspond with that. And many of those ones with the money will turn and walk away because they realize this is a very, very corrupt system. Why? Because of the lack of character, the lack of value. So I want to challenge every one of us, by the grace of God, we need to develop those kind of dynamics. You know, I've been encouraging the guys, that I work with from Freedom House. You need to have a long list of the things that you should always do. And you need to have a long list of all the things that you should never do. And that's what governs and guides your life. And then, by the grace of God, Louis, my wife and I, we've been married for 35 years. Like, we are so happy together, right? And everything isn't perfect. There's lots of tough stuff that's happening right now. But when I go home to my house, Louis, I know that my wife is there. And we can't hardly wait to sit down and have a cup of coffee together and just have time talking together. Why? Because of values, and we've learned that from God. And so I just want to encourage everybody. Those are the keys. It's the keys. Jesus said, behold, I give you the keys of the kingdom. Those keys, their authority, they open doors, they lock other doors. So you need a long list of things you should always do and a long list of things we should never do. We're talking about character, we're talking about boundaries, vision, and restraint. That ability to say no to certain things because we know that it's not right in God's eyes. So I just want to challenge us because we want our nation to be blessed. And so let's do that, and let's be passing it on to others. Amen. Help others to be able to grow up into these kind of things. Let that start with your kids, but then also others, young people that have come to me, Louis, and say, Pastor Scott, I want to do this right. How do I do this right? I just smile, and I get to feel a little teeny, tiny piece of what God feels when he hears somebody wanting to get things right. So let's do it. Let's develop that character. Let's take our nation where God wants it to go. Amen.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, my technical team. Thank you, Belize. God bless you. See you tomorrow.
Thanks, Louis. God bless Belize.
sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize,